Hello and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Michael Jacobi, and we're delighted to have you join us today. And also, I'm delighted to have an old buddy join me, a three-time mayor of Los Gatos, council person. I believe your great-grandfather catered the Donner Party. I'm not sure on this, but you're an icon.
Well, he tells stories, but he's never been out of the yard.
Joe Pirzynski, how are you, my
Good to
friend?
see you, Michael.
They will do that.
Yeah.
They will do that. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Michael.
How are you? We're going to talk a
good.
little bit about Los Gatos, the town that obviously is very dear to your heart because
is.
you've been a intricate member of the community for a long time. By way of LA?
By way of LA,
You made a left at
escaped
Ventura?
LA, went north, came into town, came into the Bay Area, 1968, something like that, and fell in love with it. Never looked back, and we moved into Los Gatos in 1974, and have loved this place ever since. I'm a relatively newcomer to the town since I've only been here like 41 years.
Yeah.
But it's a great place, and I love being able to be part of the community.
You were here when homes were up to double digits.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not the single digit.
Absolutely. We had to take a loan out from my dad
Yeah,
just to get in, and it was like double digits.
Did you go to school in LA?
I went to school in LA, yeah. Sarah High School down in Gardena,
Okay.
and then Chaminade University in Honolulu.
Okay.
And came up and did my master's work at San Jose State in counseling education.
Going to college in Honolulu like Chico, is it tough to get an education?
You know, it's not tough to live in Honolulu,
Yeah.
okay? And if so long as you can study on the beach,
Yeah.
you're okay.
Did you surf? Did all that
Yeah, actually. Yeah, doesn't it look like it?
You're an LA guy.
right.
You've got that surfer physique.
Absolutely.
So fast forward a bit. So you come to Los Gatos, and off camera, you were telling me a little something about that you started the emergency response team. Is
Yeah,
that
we moved into town in 1974, and in 1982 there was a call made from Los Gatos Police for volunteers, because this is a small agency, and if there was going to be a major emergency, they wanted some people who could be trained to assist the police and fire department in emergency. I answered the call, went down there. A small group of us founded the organization called DART, Disaster Aid Response Team. And from that point until the time I was elected on council, that's how I served.
So I was formed that in 1982.
82, correct.
And then you kind of just had quiet meetings up until 89, and all of a sudden you went, wait,
Well,
we got to do something.
We practiced on the Lexington fire.
And did
which I
it
think
work?
was 85. It worked out really well.
When the earthquake happened, were you guys there and
We
ready?
were there from 6 o'clock the day of till 6 p.m. the Saturday after.
Okay.
And
all the plans came into place?
Everything
you
worked.
Figured it.
Everything
that was
worked.
a good idea, saving that water, wasn't it?
yeah, it really was. It really was.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great experience, and the community just came out
It's still around,
tremendously.
correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our team still exists. I
Good.
can't be part of it because when I went on council, I became the individual who would sign the check for their funding. But it was a great experience. We actually searched for a number of children and seniors who walked away from their various homes and found them.
Really?
We worked during the Lexington fire at the command base in Visona, and escorted teams from all over Northern California and Oregon and Nevada up to the fire scene for that week, which was a really significant week for the town. And then, of course, the earthquake in '89, and we did building searches. It really allowed us to really become a fixture in the community, and we doubled our population size in the team because of that, because we became so high profile.
I want to talk about town council in just a second, but your vocation was a teacher.
I was a teacher, yeah.
Taught secondary.
I taught at Archbishop Mitty High School.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay.
For 40 years.
Something about you in a plaid skirt. That's just an image.
Yeah, as a male school.
I know. Well, there was
Michael.
no uniforms
Okay,
for this.
no.
faculty. What's the women's school?
It was Mother Butler.
Mother Butler. That was
Okay,
it.
and then we integrated in 2071, I think, something,
Yeah.
1971 rather.
1971.
And
To the undying thanks of a great many young men, I'm sure.
absolutely. It's changed the whole concept of school. Yeah. But no, in 1971 we integrated, and from that point on it was a co-ed school.
Now, did you teach in public education as
No, well, I did. I taught as a part-time instructor at San Jose State in the graduate education program for a while, and then also back to Catholic school at Santa Clara University in their psych program for marriage and family.
Profound difference?
Not really. No, the students were basically dedicated by this time, and graduate students.
Yeah.
So they're dedicated.
But I mean, in terms of hierarchy, who you're working for and stuff.
Yeah, I would say probably I was in better relationship with the Santa Clara folks.
Okay.
Yeah, they seemed. I mean, the program was different than the San Jose State. Both of them were great. I think
San Jose State, at the end of the day, you get forgiveness. The other place, you get absolution.
Absolutely.
Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so we go town council.
Yeah.
Just you had some time on your hands. I think I'll run for town council.
No, actually not. The way this all went down, every year as the commander of the DART team, I would have to go before the council to request funding, right? Yeah. And in, I don't think it was probably 97 or so, something like that. I went in front of the council, I begged money. It was granted. I went home, I told Pam, my wife, we get the money for another year, and I get a phone call. And I answered the phone, and on the other side of the line, it was Randy Attaway, who was the mayor at the time. And he says, hey, Joe, I liked what you said tonight. We're going to get you the money, obviously. Would you ever consider running for council? And that was my introduction. Never actually had crossed my mind up to that point. And so I first ran for the planning commission and got it, and then a year later I ran for council and was elected by our population.
3 times. Now, how does it work? It's like a succession. You would almost think. It seems that town council people stay there. How many terms can you stay?
It's unlimited.
Okay.
Yeah. So you never know when to quit.
And do you if you're on the town council, do you become mayor at some point?
More often than not.
Okay.
You
but
will.
do you run for mayor? Or
What happens usually is that depending on when you come in, there are a couple of years while you're getting acclimatized to council, and then typically move into the vice mayor's role, which is usually a transition point to mayor.
Okay.
Yeah. And the council itself elects the mayor. So the people elect the council, and then the council elects the mayor. This is it's a council manager form of government. So the mayor's role is like chairman of the board for a year's period.
What was the best thing about serving on the council?
Representing the community at significant points. I was on council when 9/11 occurred.
Okay.
And as mayor, you're required to step up and to, in this case, coalesce the community around the events of that time. And we had a gathering, a spontaneous gathering in Plaza Park that night. We led the people in prayer and in song, and the Plaza Park was full.
That's wonderful.
And it was a high point, certainly. I think that's one of the significant issues, being the face of the community to the region, to the county, to the other 14 cities and towns in Santa Clara County.
What's the worst thing about being on the town council?
The worst thing is you're going to make some enemies. Okay, it comes down to, if you're attempting to please everybody, then you're on the wrong business. And so you really have to make sure that what you're doing is for the good of the community. It's well considered, it's well evaluated, and then making the call at a certain point. And that's the significant thing, is making the call.
Well, while I'm not a resident of the town, although I'm around a lot, needless to say, with jazz, and really came here in '91. Or was it '90? When was the World Cup? '92 or '94?
I think it was '95.
No, it was an odd year. I think it was, or an even year. It was '94. Anyway, when Willow Street came out here, because I worked with them. So I've been a part of the town and certainly an observer of the town council. It strikes me, and you are no longer on the town council.
Correct.
So feel free to talk. It's like talking to an ex-justice.
Sure.
Is there a mission, not a mission statement, but is there a future plan in mind? Is it written on an Etch-a-Sketch? Does it change when because we'll go from we don't want any change to hello Starbucks. We want to save the and we want to save the downtown and North 40.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to open that whole can of worms, but is it just a matter of who's there at the time?
Well,
I mean, I guess what I'm saying, are you answering to a higher source philosophically if you're on the council?
yes, you should be.
You should be.
Yes. Okay.
Whether you do or not.
Yeah, you should. But And it's not as if this is mysterious. I mean, there is the town general plan.
Okay.
And the general plan is basically the blueprint for the future for the next 10 years. And so the last time we developed a general plan was for the 2020 general plan was in 2010. Okay. And what that does is it projects all of these things you're talking about, Michael, about how much growth should take place, where it should take place, what are the factors that reflect this community, how do you protect the character of the community while at the same time appreciating economic development and growth. You know, it's all laid out, and it's a fairly.
But are you bound to that?
Now, you are bound to it, but it's a flexible document.
Okay.
So you can, if there's something that needs to happen that has in the course of those 10 years, because this is a every 10-year kind of event where we recreate it every 10 years. What happens at that point in time is you can make a decision based on how the community values are seen at the moment, and then do a general plan amendment, which allows you to make some changes, but you should stick to the general plan. So this is not as haphazard or driven by an individual personality as it might seem. Now, that's the theory, okay? So what it comes
But the reality is, on occasion, individual personalities may lead a different direction, perhaps,
Absolutely.
than the plan.
Yes, and you know, it's like
between the lines.
yeah. When you're looking at the plan,
Yeah.
it's a human document. It's not divinely inspired, and so it does depend on the people at the time. But one of the things I think is significant is, like, I'll give an example of a change. In the 2010 general plan, which was created in 2000, there was language in there in talking about the business community.
Okay.
It said the town discourages outdoor dining. And it was created at that moment in time by the people who sat with that document to try to evolve it, because
Inside on a sunny day.
it would somehow impact the neighbors if they heard people clinking silverware outside. 10 years later, in the general plan we're currently working under, that language was changed to the town encourages outdoor dining, because the environment changes.
Sure.
And the sense of what we are as a community evolves too. So that's the key on this thing, is being able to, as a group of 5 on council, being able to discern where's the community going, because you know, this is like we're almost 30,000 in population, and the council should be representing 30,000.
Right.
Not 30, not my
Well,
wife.
let's add 30 is a wonderful number. I'm glad you brought that up, because it seems, from an outsider's standpoint, if 30 people show up at a meeting disagreeing with something, the council's a whole lot more likely to reconsider it. The question is, how much power does the individual have? And in order to claim any of it, he needs to show up, needs to write, and needs to make a point.
I would say this, that probably the biggest deficit we have in political life right now, not just in Los Gatos, but nationwide, is lack of congruent awareness on the part of the population as to what is occurring and what is potentially occurring. So people have to pay attention. If you're going to be in a democracy, people have to pay attention, okay? And so to the point, how much power does a person have? That person has as much power as he or she can bring to the table by not only being congruent in their perception of what it is that is at issue, and then being able to organize themselves within people of like mind who can then come down and say, look, this is where we are right now, and this is where we think we should go. And by the way, all these people back here, show of hands, please. Do you agree with my point of view? Does it influence the council? Yes. But
the council's only seeing maybe 0.001% of the population.
Yeah.
But
so the council has to do this. The council has to see this in the context of the rest of that population. And does this really fit, first of all, the community values, the character of the community? Does it fit the general plan as it currently exists? And does it make sense?
Yeah.
And so my own belief is council's decision should not be based on how many hands are in the air. That's one influence, but it should be based on my evaluation of how this affects the entire community.
Well, I would also think there's a very logical assumption in that people put me here because they believe that I'm going to make the correct decision. The fact I'm not hearing from them doesn't mean they're not
That's
happy.
correct. That's right.
We're talking to Joe Pirzynski, and we're taking a little break, and we're going to talk, bring up some exciting news of some things happening here at the KCAT. I'll be back in just a second.
Hi, this is Spencer Day, and you're watching KCAT TV.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Mike Jacobi with my guest, Joe Pirzynski. Can you go back on the council if you wanted to someday?
I could.
You could just
I could.
forever.
Yeah, yeah. When I chose to leave at the end of this fourth term, figured 16 years.
Yeah.
There was plenty of time. We accomplished an awful lot. I had the opportunity to be on the Metropolitan Transportation Commission Board and the Valley Transportation Board and chair of that, the Association of Bay Area Governments, and the League of Cities, the Board of Directors of League of Cities, because of my place in the council. And I think it was really good to be part of the state and regional in the course of this period of time. So for me, at the end of those 4 terms, I looked, okay, so do we do another 4 years, or do we give it up to somebody else? And timing is everything, Mike.
So the mob with the torches walking down Main Street, that didn't bother you?
That
Just a
wasn't related.
coincidence.
that wasn't related to me.
Okay,
that was
just
somebody
the
else on council.
other deal. Well, and I talked about your iconic state, which you are an icon in the community. That's good. I said that to Maltby and frightened him. And now Siemens has left, so there's really been a pretty major changing of the guards, and we're going to talk to Matt Frisbee, I think, in a couple of weeks on this show, the new police chief. Spend 10 seconds or 30 seconds on this police controversy. Is it going to happen?
No.
Okay.
My own opinion, no. Is that 10 seconds?
That left us 7 seconds.
Okay.
Well, I think we'll see. But
No, we have a great police department.
I mean,
you don't
and I
give
think
up a good
it's
police
part
department.
of property value, and people.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
I tell people, well, do we really need jazz? No. Do you really need mountains and an ocean view?
There
No.
you go.
You can get what you want. here.
That's exactly it. It's part of the character of the community. And when you look at how our police department has evolved, people really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that you can take an outside agency that you really have no control over, because it's under the sheriff. Yeah. I like Lori Smith; she's a great woman, but I hate giving up local control. And when you give over your head police officer to the entire county to elect, then I think you're giving up something. And I do think that our folks have shown a great effort to make sure that the community is safe.
Well, we talk about the things that make Los Gatos special. One of them, and not really that self-serving, because I've only been doing shows with KCAT regularly for a couple of years, but KCAT is a remarkable facility that frankly has gotten heads and shoulders better in the last year or so.
I agree.
And much, much more professional. It was a hobby, is the way I saw it. And now it's become a viable place for young people to learn the business and to be exposed to really an art form that there's the future. That having been said, for the folks who are longtime Los Gatos residents, they will remember the venue, which is a building here on campus, Los Gatos High School, which had grand plans, large ambitions, and sits empty and dilapidated, but not for long. Talk about some of the plans.
Yeah, first I want to agree with your premise. KCAT, I think, has evolved significantly in the last year or so. I was very fortunate to be selected to be on the KCAT Board of Directors after I left council. One of my interests in KCAT is to see its value increased as the vehicle for community understanding about the issues of politics and government in this town. What's going on? Because I really think that informed electorate is a really significant thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, and KCAT can be that. I see this. I use the term. It's KCAT 2.0.
Yeah.
That I really see us at the cusp of a brand new experience as the media for the community to understand what is really going on. And I think there's a great team on board right now. It's really, really clear that we're potentially set to move ahead. Now, in terms of the venue.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I just want to quickly say, in reference to community access stations, so
Yes.
many of them are based on taking a camera to a council meeting and locking it down, and that's the end of the conversation.
right.
What they're doing here, whether it's this show or the other show's doing, it is really a terrific job and a terrific benefit to the community.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's exciting to be at this point, and I mean, my sense is if I can facilitate this in some ways, that as issues come up, given the staffing we have right now, given the leadership and the management of the station, I can see people going to channel 15, to say, okay, what's really going on?
Yeah.
And our facilitating that knowledge. Now, in terms of the venue,
Right.
this is a brand new opportunity to move from this studio to a facility that's on the other side of campus that is underutilized or unutilized at this point in time. It was great in its concept. It evolved away from the concept and eventually became a vacant property. And the council, I think really wisely, offered it to KCAT to be able to become a greater involved entity within the community and include agencies beyond just KCAT, okay? But to your point, we are at the beginning of the chance to rehabilitate that facility.
Yeah, and we'll be talking a lot more about it, about where it's going. Folks know where it's been. But in this period and I think we probably have a B-roll showing on the screen that kind of shows you what the facility looks like now. But ultimately, we're talking about bringing a recording studio in there. But certainly meeting places. I mean, we'll probably move the jazz offices over there. Meeting places for community members. Maybe even a little staging for theater. Television studios, obviously. While these are remarkable studios, folks, I just want to say my right hand is now touching the cameraman's leg, and it's just a little too close in here.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear
see
that.
it, no.
He has his attorney on the phone. But it's going to be, and the word, whatever they call it, but the word venue is such a marvelous word. It means gathering.
It does. You know, and I have to say, the council wisely gave the mission to the youth commission to make the recommendation. So the youth commission evaluated a number of offerings from other components in the community, other groups in the community, and I was so impressed when the leadership of the youth commission stood up and said, we've evaluated all of the offerings, and here are the reasons why we are recommending KCAT as the agency that should take the venue. And they just ran down the list, and it was astute. It was they were like the adults in the room that night. And at a certain point, there was a question raised about the number of individuals who would be involved, and I remember distinctly the president of the youth commission. She said, we were looking for quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
And it was just spot on.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, you did. I don't know if you've seen the show, but we had a young man in a couple of weeks ago who, like all of us at that age, was going through some challenges, not really sure of the direction he wanted to choose. And he got involved with KCAT. We got involved with editing, working with our buddy Roger, and learning how television works, and it just turned his life around. And that's it. I mean, that's an opportunity that very few communities can give to the young people. And Lord knows we have to give opportunity.
Yeah, and I think the fact that the students in the high schools and the other schools in Los Gatos and the Los Gatos environment will have the opportunity to practice something that probably very few kids are going to have the chance to see during their secondary school education. Yeah. But I'm a firm believer, as an old high school person, from teacher to administrator, I have no question about it that students learn so much environmentally rather than just in the classroom and with the books. And to see some of the individuals who come to the KCAT studios and then performed, it's like, this is really good. This is going to be something they take away with them for life.
Well, we're in for some exciting times, and this isn't. This is something that's going to happen. I know there's going to be some fundraising involved. You and I will both be involved in that. But are we hoping 2-3 years?
I'm hoping less than that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say it'd be sweet if it were a year and a half.
Yeah,
something
I'd like to
that.
do it before we
Yeah.
both turn 60.
Yeah, I would like to do the ribbon cutting.
Did I forget something? Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Michael.
Joe Pirzynski, you are, it's nice, I applaud your dedication and treasure your friendship.
I as well with you, Michael. Thank you so
Good
much.
seeing you, partner. That is Talk of the Town. In the next month or so, we're gonna go to Holtz, which will be fun, and take a look at the new patio and talk to those folks. Coach Mariucci is going to be on, the ex-49er coach. We'll talk to Matt Frisbee from the police department. I'm glad you're with us today. As always, I'm Jacobi. I'll see you soon.